Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick unboxing and first look at the DEPGI 15.6-inch QHD portable gaming monitor for the Xbox Series S. Now, for those of you that follow the channel, you know that I picked up the Series S on sale from Verizon a little while back. It was an absolute steal at $150 US, and I'm sure that a sale like that likely will come back again since this console has been on the market for several years. And when I first purchased it, I wasn't sure whether or not I would end up keeping it simply because I already have a Series X along with more than one great gaming PC and, of course, PlayStation as well. So, I didn't need to get it. The good news is that even though it is less powerful than my Series X and PlayStation, it is still just as much fun to play. The only thing I will say is that for every time I hear that this is a portable console, I understand what people are saying because it's so small. But from a practical standpoint, taking this with you on the road, traveling, and hoping that you're going to get access to a TV with an available HDMI port that you can actually use, well, that's a bit of a crapshoot. And that's where DEPGI delivers a bulletproof, at least on paper, solution. Now, at $399 US, this is expensive, but I would argue this is the most premium product of its kind for the Series S, at least that I have seen. And that's because not only are you getting that 15.6-inch display, but you are getting the native resolution, again, QHD, that's 2560 by 1440 res, that the Series S was designed for. You're getting HDR support, FreeSync support, and 1 millisecond response time, built-in speakers, and of course, this modular design that makes it look like a finished product, which is also a big part of the appeal, as well as competing products. So, also regarding price, at the time of this video, there is a coupon that you can automatically apply on Amazon through the link that I've provided that will take it down to about $360, and then I should also have a coupon from the manufacturer that you could apply as well. At least I'm hopeful for that. With that out of the way, let's take a look at this product. Flipping it over, you'll just see at least a little bit more of what it looks like, some warnings, and that's pretty much it. They're reminding you this is only for the Series S. Do not try to use this with the Series X. But you can use it with it. Just don't try to make it fit in there. That's the point. You can use this with any console that you want because, after all, it is just driven by an HDMI port. So Nintendo Switch, whatever it may be, you're good to go. So let's go ahead and get this thing out of the box. And this is, I have to say, one of the cooler devices on the market. And let's say you want a smaller or just more affordable version. I'm going to move the Series S out of the way. DEPGI does make this in an 11-inch and 12.5-inch model as well. Those are less expensive. I think they're $250 and $300 before any discounts. So something to keep in mind. Just put this down here. And as soon as, DEPGI reached out and asked if I was interested in this, it was easy for me to answer because it's just a really cool concept. And this does make it so that you really can take a legitimate console on the road. And then all you really have to worry about is an internet connection. And if, like me, which most of you do have, a hotspot wherever you go, well, that's not going to be a problem unless, of course, your wireless carrier doesn't have any service wherever you've traveled to. So, this is one of the clips. I saw a retaining clip for, I think, attaching the console to this. I'm assuming these are the included accessories because it does come with a remote control, of course, a power source, or rather wall plug, I should say. So that's the first thing I'm going to show you is the wall plug that you will need to take with you. No travel bag with this. That you're going to have to figure out on your own. But I don't think that's a big deal at all. You have your user manual. I can slide that out. Along with, as mentioned, that remote control, which certainly handy to have. And you can see it pretty much gives you basic controls, menu, exit, the scaling, source, because there actually are two HDMI inputs. So again, reminding you that if you want to use this with another console, you can. Remember, the mold, the design is just for the Series S. Your HDMI cable they've included. And what is this little screwdriver and what appear to be some mounting screws. We'll see. Let me get the styrofoam out of here. actually get most of this out of here. And let's take a look at the actual display and this mold that they've created. And, you know, it's one of those things where I feel like it was just, you know, it doesn't feel like that long ago that we saw products like this, you know, just from a conceptual standpoint. And the fact that now they're available and they're, you know, I would say subjectively affordable, because, well, some people will look at this and say it's as expensive, more expensive than the console. I will remind you that this isn't just a portable monitor. This is a portable monitor that literally has been designed head to toe to create at least the illusion of being one piece of hardware. So before I open this up, let's take a look at the back. I can already tell you the screen is a matte finish, which I prefer. The two HDMI ports right there. And as you can see, they are labeled. One is 1440p at 60 hertz. The other is 1440 at 144. So keep that in mind. That's part of the beauty of this unit. We have two headphone jacks right there. Your DC in for this guy. And that's pretty much it. Almost everything else on this appears to be ventilation. Pretty light. I think this weighs in at a little over 2 pounds. If I go ahead and open this up, now we've got the full Monty here, some DEPGI branding, along with all of your buttons for control. So I'll go ahead and get that nice and tight. I'm not sure that they're going to resolve because these are actually embedded in, so they're not going to show very well. There's no real contrast there, but power, then you have a left arrow, right arrow, enter, source, and menu. And of course, you have your two speakers, another nice touch. So let's go ahead and get the Xbox and let's pop it into this thing. And let's see what we're working with. Now, this side is already attached. This side is not. I assume this clip, I could read instructions, right? This clip is to keep it all nicely attached. And let's get the Xbox. Excuse me, my arm is still not, well, my whole body's still not what it used to be. But presumably, and this is where instructions are a good idea, folks, it's going to slot right in here. And, I mean, I already can think of a lot of uses for this. And you may have noticed they've kept a cutout. Whoa, almost lost it. Oh, I still have some reflexes, even if I can't feel my fingers. They've kept a cutout here. And the reason being is that you still want to be able to access the ports on the actual Xbox. After all, that's how this is going to connect. So, you already learned one lesson from nearly my mistake, which is do not, move too quickly with this. Now, this should just pocket, and it does. That was really easy, right? Hopefully you were able to see that for the most part. Now let's pocket the other side. You can see these holes. There are two little plugs there that should catch it. And it looks like, well, this is why they have that piece, because I don't think it will just catch, or actually, I take that back. That is what the screws are for. So our little screws and screwdriver, it's to mount that, because the other side is already mounted, and that's what these little white things are caps to cover the screws. The only problem there, obviously, is that if you ever want to take this out, that would be your catch-22. But for me personally, I think the concept is pretty simple. It's like, if you know you're going to actually use this a lot, you're probably going to let the Xbox live in this permanently, because it would be a real pain in the butt to constantly remove this. But with that out of the way, why don't we try actually using this, right? I think that's what everybody wants to see. Okay, so I set this thing up. As you can see, I'm inside Atomic Heart right now. Phenomenal game, in my opinion, so far, and the very little that I've played of it, but really good. I've got the console set to 1440p, 120 hertz, 10-bit. HDR is on, of course, auto. And the display quality on the DEPGI appears to be excellent, which it should be at this price point. But let's go ahead and see what the game looks like. And I'm just going to be doing a very quick... Oh, wrong thing already. Didn't mean to do that. Just let me try to... Not the easiest playing and talking at the same time, but I'm doing my best here. Oh, off goes one head. See if I can get the other. There we go. Not bad, kids. And let's go ahead and take what we can from them. And again, this is just a really quick look at how the game plays, and it looks really, really good.
Find a way to move forward. But frankly, I'm having trouble figuring out how.
And so you can hear the speakers, because I am trying to talk over it. I have them at 100% volume. Here you go.
Not some city wuss riding a desk. We've got all kinds of training.
I must admit, I'm quite glad to hear that.
Okay. Oh, I was supposed to climb, wasn't I? Yep. Whoops. Let's try that. If I can remember how. Really impressed with the quality, I have to say.
Holy shit. That was a surprise.
I agree. You've got quick reflexes, Major.
You bet. Let me survive without him.
All right, almost there.
Charles, that was a Barav, right? A tunneling robot.
Indeed it was. Baravs can drill through even the hardest minerals at incredible speed. Soviet science has high hopes for them in regard to our inevitable conquest of all the planets in the solar system.
Ooh, I took it there. Oh man, I'm messed up. Alright, so I think that gave you a pretty good impression of how this functions. And I'll just take you into settings quickly so that you can actually see precisely what I was talking about regarding the actual resolution, all that good stuff, because I do think that this has a lot going for it. So let's just jump into settings, and if I go ahead and jump into TV and display, just realize the microphone was still pointed at the console, so let's get that back where it needs to be. And so just briefly, I'm just going to show you. You can see again, we've got 1440p res, we have a 120 hertz refresh rate, and then if you jump into video modes, you can see we have HDR10, Auto HDR, 422. I mean, it's checking figuratively and literally every box. And you can see I've got it right now running at 10-bit. So I'm impressed with this. I'm going to use it more. Again, this was a first look. But from what I can tell, I mean, could I come up with a full review from this? Yeah, I could. The DEPGI 15.6-inch QHD HDR capable, FreeSync capable, 1 millisecond response time display at least appears to be one of the best add-ons I've ever seen for a console that really actually transforms what you could do with this piece of hardware. And so if you really do want to travel with a console, I don't think you're going to do a lot better than this. Again, you're looking at a little over 2 pounds for the DEPGI, add in couple more for this. I mean, so if you find the right bag, figure out a way to take this with you, you really do have a portable console that can go anywhere, and you can even obviously hook up other devices. If I wanted to hook up something like, I wouldn't need something for streaming. That's the other nice thing about this. You've got a stream machine here as well, but if I wanted to hook up my Nintendo Switch or PlayStation or even a PC, of course I could. Because you do have that second HDMI input. So DEPGI realized you got to make this a little bit more dynamic. Remember, the two HDMI inputs do support different refresh rates, even though they both support 1440p and below. If you want to play 1080p, you can, but why would you when you have a console that natively supports 1440p at 120 hertz? And now you have a display with enclosure that matches that. And that's the beauty of the DEPGI. But that pretty much sums things up. Really like this thing. I have a feeling I will be using it much more again than I probably would have ever anticipated, especially for other reasons, which you'll eventually find out about in future videos. But that rounds things out. Again, really cool piece of hardware. Expensive, but I think if you really plan on traveling with the Series S, it's a small price to pay for what this experience can deliver, especially since you have the dual headphone jacks. You can play, more than one person could be enjoying this. So on multiplayer gaming, sky's the limit. For me to have like Madden on here, more so than first-person shooters, that I usually stick to PC, even something like Atomic Heart. I much prefer to play that on PC. But if I'm in my living room, that's where consoles come in. But with something like this, why bring along a laptop if you don't need to, which isn't even going to be ideal necessarily for gaming, because with this, of course, I've got that ultimate Game Pass wherever I go. And it's really the beauty. But that pretty much sums it up. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button. And as usual, please feel free to subscribe, and please stay safe. Later.